Hi, everybody. Jenkins here, and I'm going to take you through our Fall Festival Project Zero Hour agenda for this week. We have a very important week. As you can see, our driving question is how can we, as entrepreneurs, create an outreach plan to get our Fall Festival booth fully funded by a community partner? Now, this is where we take all that big dreaming and brainstorming and start molding it into real life. And we can't do it without a community partner. So let's get started. But first, the countdown. Fall Festival is in 39 days. Ooh, it's getting close. So if your Project Zero Hour has not already turned in your budget, solidified all those ideas we did last week, then you're a little bit behind. We got to catch up. Trust cards. If you have a problem with your trust card, misspelled name, you never received it for some reason, or you didn't apply for it, go ahead and fill out that trust card problem form. Make sure you're on that with your specific problem, and I will get that to you as soon as is possible. Next up after that, we have our SEL Moments with Dr. K. This week is all about self-care, so teachers, please go ahead and click on that calendar and do those activities, writing a letter to yourself, etc. Some good and important things that we can do this week to start off. After we've done our self-care, we really got to go into this outreach plan. And outreach is all about getting partnerships, securing resources, donations, funding, and things like that. The Fall Festival can't happen without it. So it's up to you, Project Zero Hours and Project Zero Hour teachers, to follow an outreach plan, to create an outreach plan. So what I've gotten here is a script. You can use this script to create your cold calling outreach plan. There are some spaces in here to make some choices, right? And some spaces in here to input the important part, which is your story, right? When we're cold calling our donors, possible community partners, people that are going to give to us to make our booths come alive, they want to know the story of what they are donating to, of what they're getting into, of what they can be a part of. And if you don't have passion about it, they are not going to have passion about it. So spend some time on this script as a Project Zero Hour, workshop it. Use the oral communication rubric on the agenda to practice reading this script to each other, to your Project Zero Hour teacher, maybe to the whole class, to make sure that you can deliver this ask that we're asking 100% flawlessly, and it's going to go over. And people are just going to say, yes, I want to be a part of that. I want to help. There are some specific pointers on here, like your ask, what to ask for. If you've got a booth that's selling food, a great ask from someone like a grocery store or a restaurant supplier would be to ask for a gift card, right? So with that gift card, you can use in store and buy all of your food materials and things like that. You might also ask, a company for, their a good or a service or a something like equipment, a stage, or maybe an air fryer or something like this. Those are very specific asks, right? You want to know in mind already before you call them how they can help you. So all they have to do is say yes. And finally, you can ask them to attend the Fall Festival and see how their donation is being put to good use in the community. All right, they are the community partner. You can also ask them to co-brand how we can use their logo and branding at your booth on our Fall Festival materials so they can be known throughout the community as someone who, yes, they did help bring this to life. They're going to want to do that. That and tax write-offs are a huge incentive. And they have good hearts too, just like you guys. They're going to want to be a part. So at the bottom of your script is a outreach plan tracker, so you can put in who's calling, where they called, that person or company's information, and the result of that call, so that you can follow up, and everyone in your Project Zero Hour can know who's called what and when and what was the response. In case you need to call back, if you need to follow up or fill out a form, you can go ahead and track it on this and stay organized, right? And I do want you to turn that in at the end of this week and subsequent weeks so that we can have a good idea of who our community sponsors are. But remember, it doesn't happen without you picking up the phone, writing emails, you doing it. All right. So back to our fall festival plan. After you've done all your outreach for the week, go ahead and turn your plan in right there. Show us what you got so far. I cannot wait to see what community partners are going to partner with you this year to make your booth come to life. Next, our booth design. If y'all were here last year, right, sophomores, juniors, seniors, y'all know that the booths are a big deal, right? It's all about how they look, about their feel, about their theme, about their flavor. It just really gets people interested and adds that wow factor that new tech brings. So you got some options here, right? So if you're interested in architecture, if that's you, right, or a group of students in your Project Zero Hour, while people are doing outreach, you might want to consider hopping on SketchUp. Now, SketchUp is a CAD program. It's free and it's pretty easy to use. All you have to do is sign in with your Dallas ISD, and it's free to you. And then you can start creating, right, in 3D. So you can create a 3D model of your booth. This is not easy, but these are tools that you would use in a real life design sort of job. So if you would want to practice that, get some help with that, you can ask your Project Zero teacher or come to me. I know a lot of us have some expertise in some CAD software, and we can help you out designing that custom booth. If you want to start simple, which I suggest you do, you can go with the basic booth frame design. All right. So I've put all the specs here. This design, it uses 2x4 wood planks, right, that you can get at any hardware store. 2x4s are 10 feet long, right? And each of those pieces cost $6. So for an entire booth frame, and I'll show you the design down here, your PCH needs to raise $50 for that materials cost, which is not a lot of money, right? Spread around everyone. You can, ask parents. You can even ask a community sponsor to cover that cost. But once you have that money raised, you can see me, and I will get a shipment of wood of 2x4x10s arranged to your classroom and start helping you put it together, just like we did last year. So this is what that booth looks like, right? So we cut down these 2x4x10 pieces of lumber into this design right here. As you can see, as a front, sides, and no back, so that way students can walk, behind it that are working the event, go and grab other materials and stack things behind it, etc. And sides, so people can't wander through sort of the booth area. But most importantly, it has this front area with these three studs here. You can use these to hang signage. A lot of us hung signs on the top, and maybe even built some cross members and created things like houses or cottages, or the candy house that Ms. Tovar did last year, the Apple booth from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from last year. Those utilize that basic frame to great effect, and it was awesome. Almost everyone had this sort of frame and then built on that. So I strongly suggest begin construction on something like this. So that comes to, how do you decorate it? Well, last year, and in other projects as well, we found that decorating things like these becomes very easy when you sort of purchase these plastic tablecloths. They could be wallpaper and things like that, but they're thin plastic sheeting, and we actually stretch them around the frame and staple it to it, and it gives this great effect. So it looks high quality. It is not expensive. You can see here for $9 or $10, you can get two, three, or four sheets of the same thing, and then wrap your entire project booth with this, and it just gives a great look. So if you're building a house, you might select bricks, or if you're building like a castle, you might select that old stone look, or even if you were doing, a cool, like, hell based one. I know our Miss Williams's wing project booth is doing that. you might want to consider something, flaming and firing like that. These are just some examples. There are just so many that you can look for on places like Amazon and get those on order, and they just look fantastic. So these are some ideas that you can, look forward. Now, if you are really into the 2D graphic design, your fall festival needs a sign, right? With your logo, things like that, pricing, what you're offering, maybe a menu, things like that, right? This is marketing. You have to have an attractive sign, right? And that takes time to paint. So all of our signs last year were high quality. They were hand painted on plywood or some other sturdy material that you were able to affix to either a signpost or directly to your PZH booth. So those just don't come out of nowhere, right? You have to design that, and you have to transfer that from the design onto the actual physical booth material, and that does take time. And I recommend that someone in your Project Zero Hour group that's so inclined, that is artistic, to start that now. You can start your design in Canva, right? So I've also put here some golden rules of logo design, right? So you can watch that to get some inspiration. But you can put together a design and have your Project Zero class vote on it, make changes, and then once you've solidified that, I want you to turn that design in so we can start using your design on our marketing materials on Instagram and on flyers to middle schools and to parents and things like that. And of course, we have our shared playlist. If you hadn't made a playlist yet to work by, go and create a fall playlist. It just adds to the atmosphere in the classroom, and you get to decide what's on that playlist. Hey, keep it clean, keep it classy. That is our week of Project Zero Hour activities this week. There is a lot to do, right? There's something here for everyone, right? From making phone calls and writing that script to that graphic design component and making your signage to making that booth design and getting that thing together. Every single person in your Project Zero Hour group should have something to do. All right. So let's make it a great week. Let's get these activities done and use this week to forward our goal of getting a community partner, start building our booths, and make this year's Fall Festival twice as big as it was last year. All right, guys. I'll see you in Project Zero Hour. Bye now.